Welcome to the Opinionated Benchwarmers Podcast, episode 185. Your Opinionated Benchwarmers are back to do what we do best, and that's to discuss sports. Got the whole team in here today. How y'all fellas feeling, man?
Exciting times, brother. Exciting times. Ready to get into it, man. With the draft next week, as we record this on a Wednesday, and then the NBA on the brink of the NBA playoffs, man. Ready to do it.
Yeah, I'm excited as well, man. Everything's been rolling pretty well for me. Obviously, you can see when I'm repping right now. I actually got the 77 on there
Okay.
too for the
Okay.
Luka fans, man. So that's pretty much what my head is, man. NBA basketball, nothing like, of course, when the Lakers in the thick of things. And so I'm honestly just excited. I'm not gonna hold it, man. We can go ahead and get into it.
Lakers in five.
Yeah. Yeah.
But shout out to our brother Ramon, man. Officially, everybody is hitched up. My brother enjoyed a great time flying down to Louisiana for your ceremony and such a special day. So, congrats to you and the missus. Shout out to y'all, man. Beautiful couple. And now, man, it's official, man. All three of us are
Yes,
we
sir.
definitely hitched up. So, congrats, man. Hope wish you all the best as always. I told you in person, but it's always good to make it official, put it on recording. But man, we back. We've been busy, needless to say. I know it's been a month. I don't want to hear it. We've had a lot of special things going on in our lives. But we back just in time for what's going down. And like Los mentioned, we got the NBA playoffs coming up on the brink of that. The play-in games are going as we record tonight. And then we got the NFL draft in 10 days. So it's very, very special time, very, very exciting time for sports fans. Let me try to get back in the groove of things. You see, I'm a little rusty. But if you've been following us and following us, as I say, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube on Opinionated Benchwarmers. You can just search that up and then make sure you are subscribed to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform, Opinionated Benchwarmers. Fellas, let's just jump into it here. We got some matchups that are clear here. We got the playing game, but we got some interesting matchups, guys. I mean, we got the Clippers and the Nuggets that are set to battle this weekend. We got the Lakers, our Lakers, which we'll save to the end because we know we're gonna spend a little time there, facing the Timberwolves. I mean, the East is set as well. I mean, but let's start with the West, man. I mean, the Nuggets and the Clippers, man. That's gonna be a really good series there, man. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. It's going to be a good series. I think it's going to be a series of 6 or 7 games. The question I have for this series and what I'm looking at in this series is, are we going to get the Nuggets of old, right? The Nuggets have went through a lot of change right before the playoffs, obviously firing their head coach. And so when you're looking at this situation, Jamal Murray hasn't been the most healthiest. Even Joker has been banged up a little bit towards the end here. Can this team really pull it together to beat a team, a surging Clippers team that's been playing well with James Harden and Kawhi, who's been playing healthy finally? We haven't seen this type of Kawhi in a long time, so it'll be interesting. This is one of those fun series where I'm glad they lined up as a Lakers fan that they lined up that they're gonna knock one of each other out. Somebody has to lose.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be very intriguing. The Nuggets have kind of had that little bit of mystique in the Western Conference for the last couple of years. But, as you alluded to, especially with the firing of Mike Malone and kind of how things went down the stretch, I think they had like a 4-game losing streak towards close to the end of the season. It hasn't been that same Nuggets team. And so, going into it, they definitely seem very vulnerable. I know the Clippers have been pretty much red hot. I think like 12-3 over their last 15 games ended the season, I want to say, with a 7-game win streak, including that game against Golden State. That was effectively like a playoff game. That atmosphere and going in there, to that arena and taking it away from Golden State. So the Clippers kind of seem a little scary right now, honestly. Seeming like you said, be kind of clicking on all cylinders. We know what Ty Lue is as a head coach. I still respect him. To me, as one of the top coaches in the game. So they're gonna be a tough out for anybody. And if Kawhi Leonard, as you alluded to, can truly be that healthy Kawhi Leonard with what James Harden is giving them, as well as Norman Powell, we know what Zubac does as well too. They're gonna be a tough out, and I think Denver might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Clippers in six here. I mean, when you look at James Harden averaging a double double the last 5 games, 20 and 10 with assists, and you look at what Kawhi has done the past 10 games. I mean, Kawhi, that's a scary when he's on this when he's playing like this. This is what we are used to. This is why he was regarded as probably one of the top five players in the league. Some people regarded him as the best in the league at one point. But when he's playing like this is a different Clippers team. And I don't know what Harden has found this youth. But I mean, when you watch him play, he's just playing. It's almost it mirrors Luca. He doesn't let anybody speed him up. He's not the most athletic guy, but he's effective, and he makes everybody around him better. And he's a true point guard. I mean, I wanted to ask you guys today. We didn't talk about this before, but the way he's playing and the way he has played, would you regard him as as a top point guard of all time, like a top maybe 10 point guard of all time?
That's James Harden, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he not a top point guard all time, maybe top scoring guard all time. I like what he does, but he's just that combo. He really plays more of that too. I mean, now he does handle the ball. He's like that LeBron, like it's that LeBron conversation. Like, is he really the point guard or is he a power point forward? He's kind of that combo guard that handles the ball a lot and dishes it. So, I mean, it's just a weird I don't know how to explain Jay. I
Yeah.
wouldn't think of him as necessarily a point guard, but I will think of him as a top scoring guard of all time. I mean, look at his numbers. He's number three. I mean, number two in threes all time, which is crazy. So, I mean, we
Yeah.
got to give him respect in that.
Yeah. And I want to say I kind of agree with the sentiments. I still ultimately, because he really came in as a shooting guard, and that's where he played to me more of his career. Now, I know that, of course, he has been, as Lowe's mentioned, kind of that combo guard. But I think if you were to even go and search him right now, they would probably have James Harden listed as a two guard. And I really regard him among the top two guards. I think that when you begin to kind of have a conversation, of course, the top two guards of all time, that's already sold up. Nobody is entering that conversation as far as MJ and Kobe. And I think that when you get to that third place of all time, when you start to throw around his name, Wade's
D
name,
Wade. Yeah,
when you start to throw around even the historical pieces, the Jerry West of the world, you throw in Allen Iverson. I think he's all in that category. So I think kind of almost an interesting argument would be if you had to rank D Wade, James Harden, and Allen Iverson. How do you rank those three? I
yeah.
think that that's
I'm
intriguing.
gonna relax on it. And my point, we can move on if Los don't have anything, obviously. But I think what he does in the playoffs, I think it'll start on Saturday because historically we see how he just is a dud in the playoffs. He's a mirror of himself. He's an all-star, a superstar in the regular season. But when it comes to playoffs, you like where the hell is James Harden? Whether it was back when he was paired up with Chris Paul, whether it was back in, even the Thunder days. I mean, he just doesn't show up in the playoffs. So that's why I think to take that next jump into the top tier, he has to have a heck of a run. And I mean, he might be able to do it with how he's been looking the last month. But
Yep.
so that matchup, that's the 4-5 matchup in the West, and then obviously we got the Rockets and the Warriors, the 2-7 matchup, which is very interesting because the Warriors are coming in as favorites on the sports books. So that'll be an interesting matchup at 9:30 p.m. On TNT. Hopefully, I'll be awake to see it on the East Coast here. But fellas, a monster matchup. You got the young guys and the veterans.
Yeah, I mean, you work your tail off to get the number two seed. Congrats. You got the Golden State
Right,
Warriors. You
right.
got an experienced team. It's like, I honestly, and I think we talked about this offline, wanted to avoid the Warriors at all costs because they are a good team that matchups well with the Lakers. And I think they match up well with the Warriors. And one thing you can't take away from the Warriors, they have that championship pedigree, right? We've seen Jimmy Butler, what he does in the playoffs, even in the play-in, as we record this on Wednesday, what he did yesterday on Tuesday, how he just carries a team, how he has that next gear where he kind of steps it up. So, I mean, it's going to be a fun series. I honestly think the war. I mean, I'm sorry. I honestly think that the Rockets win this series. I think it's going to be in 7 games, though.
Ooh,
I just, I,
ooh.
yeah, I like it. That's a tough one. Honestly, man, I'm still going with the Warriors in this series. I think that ultimately, just that playoff experience and that playoff pedigree that is there, Obviously with, some of those guys with your Stephs and with your Draymonds, but obviously you already talked about Jimmy. He already seems that he's clicked into that mode. And I think that when you have the two of them going, I think it's going to be kind of very tough for those young guys, that just that veteran presence and experience. I think that it will be a good series. They do have, the Amen Thompson and Van Vliet should be healthy for this series, along with kind of the presence they have inside. But the only thing that kind of worries me and concerns me a little bit with Houston is when the Warriors go to small ball, are the Rockets going to be able to effectively utilize the size that they have? Or pretty much in this series, who is going to have to adjust to whom? Can the Rockets big stay on the floor, or will the Warriors style of play cause those bigs to have to get off the floor? And I think that can ultimately cause this series to go either way. I think that it'll be a series that as you mentioned, that'll extend for a bit, but it's just tough for me to pick the Rockets at this point with their lack of playoff experience.
Yeah, then you got Coach Adunke. He's going to make it interesting. But the last matchup that they had a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, it was some bad blood between him and Steph. And historically, you see Adunke, whether it's him and LeBron, or he's typically historically gets into it with the players. But when you have a young group like the Rockets and your head coach is acting out like that, you have to kind of think, you know, composure means everything in the NFL, I mean, in the NBA playoffs. And if they can't hold their composure, that's one thing. Number two is Houston with those young springy legs can keep the pace up. Which with the will the Warriors be able to play on that type of pace that the Rockets can present? I can see that being an issue. But I think ultimately it boils down is I think that Jimmy Butler, and he proved it once again in the playing game against the Grizzlies, he'll score 5, 8, 7, and then when it comes to playoff time and something's on the line, he'll drop 38 like he did. And if they're able to get a performance like that, which he's proven that he has, leading a team on the Heat twice to the conference finals, putting the team on his back, playoff Jimmy is a real deal. And then you add in Green and the moxie that he has in the defense that he's proposed potential defensive player of the year this year. I think I got to go with the Warriors here, but it's a more of an experience thing for me more than anything. But I don't fault it. It's gonna be a scrap. It's gonna be a dogfight, and I love it because we're in the Western Conference and everybody in these dogfights.
Warriors and what though? I didn't get y'all predictions.
Six. Warriors in six.
Yeah, I got Warriors in six.
All right,
Um,
Houston and 7.
I respect it.
so we got it. We got it. We should be writing this down, huh? We should be writing these predictions down. Somebody writing it down so
I got you.
we could backtrack. All right. So then we have the Thunder. Obviously, we're recording on a Wednesday night, so the playing is still going. The playing wrap up on Friday night. So we don't have a locked in bracket, but we're not going to discuss the Thunder yet because we don't know who they're going to be playing yet. But last but not least, we got our Lakers facing the Timberwolves at 8:30 on Saturday. I will be up for that. I don't care how late the game runs. I'm gonna stay up. I'm gonna take a nap or something during the day. But what's most intriguing about this matchup is so many ways we can attack this because that's our team. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm just happy we're not in the play-in this year. That's all I'm happy about.
Yeah, I mean, years. I mean, we've been in the play-in since the play-in been a thing, and so it
We
does.
missed the play-in.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it does feel good to kind of get this week-long rest. I do worry a little bit about rust and about, flow and rhythm being off this long, but Minnesota's in the same situation as us. They're sitting in and they're waiting to play us. So I look at this series, it's going to really come down to, as Ramon mentioned with another series, who adjusts to who, right? You look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, they are a bigger team, right? With Rudy Gobert, right? And then you got Julius Randle out there. And then they also got Nas Reed coming off the bench. So they are a bigger team with, a couple 7-footers where we only present really one playable 7-footer in Jackson Hayes. So really seeing how they play against Luka in that pick and roll because we're going to pull Rudy Gobert in that pick and roll? Do they double on that? What is their scheme? What is their game plan when it comes to Luka in that pick and roll? And he's isolated against Rudy Gobert, who's a former 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. So we really going to see. We seen what happened last year with that matchup, that historic crossover pull up hit to go up one with like seconds to go. So we've seen what it's done before. So it'll be interesting to see how who adjusts to that big because our second unit we go small. We bring in small,
Yeah.
we spread the floor. and Rudy Gobert is going to put him out on some thin air on that 3-point line. So I'm really interested to see how that chess match
Yeah.
happens from game to game and who takes advantage of what. Because if we're not game rebounding and we're losing that rebounding game and they're getting second chances and multiple chances, we're in trouble. But if we can run and get down the floor and shoot our threes and run them out the gym and force Rudy Gobert off the floor, I feel like we're in a good place.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with that sentiment and take. I think the key thing that you said is the 3-point shooting. Can the Lakers, force Rudy out? Can you play that 5-out type style? And if you can knock down your threes, then it's going to really get, compromising for the Timberwolves. Now, I think that one thing that I want to see on the flip end is who comes along with Anthony Edwards. And this is not to diminish what they are as a team because they are a very talented team. The Timberwolves actually rank in the top 10 on both sides of the ball as far as offense and defense. And there's only a few teams, I think maybe 3 or 4 teams in the league that can actually say that. So we're talking about a good team. But I think ultimately, what has been known pretty much is that Julius Randle is another guy that's been an underperformer when it's come to the playoffs. And so, is he going to be that true number two guy that can come along with Ant? Because what we know definitively is Luka and Bron are going to be there. We know that they are two guys that historically raise their level of play when it comes to playoff basketball. So we already know that. We've seen what Austin Reeves has even done in the playoffs in years and times past. So when you look at it, are the Lakers going to be sitting there potentially with 3 out of the top 4 players in this series? Or is Julius Randle going to have something to say about that? And even Jaden McDaniels, is he going to have something to say about it? And seeing kind of, how they respond. But I think, like Los alluded to, it's going to come down a lot to, who wins, who pivots, or adjusts to the other team.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Luca again. I like the mental. I like to speak on the mentality of the game. But you look at Luca and his history when he was with the Mavs and beating the Timberwolves. So he's extra motivated. I mean, I think what did Luca average like what that series? He was averaging over 30 points per game. So I want to see if Lucas can tap into that. He's going to be extra motivated. Obviously, with the trade going on, he's been on another level. But I think that like you said, if Julius doesn't show up, I think it's our game. And then we've done well against centers when you look at how we did against the Nuggets a couple games ago. I mean, well, every time we faced them, the last couple times we faced them. And then we've done well against Cat, who's a very talented center. Those are two of the top two. Those are probably the top two centers in the league right now. So we definitely do well against that. I'm interested to see um JJ and his adjustments. I think we're going to see a masterful. I'm expecting a masterful adjustment. I'll be paying attention to how he strategizes just because he's such a great mind. Like I think that some coaches that I think of like Coach Spo and coaches like him and the Clippers coach, I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, Ty
No
Lue.
disrespect, Ty Lue. They're just masters at adjusting to the game. So I'm looking forward to just being able to see 2 months of just adjustments that in this chess match that JJ is gonna put forward. But I'm excited. We all got to go around. I say Lakers in five.
I'll say Lakers in six.
Yeah, I'm thinking Lakers in six. I wanted to do the Lakers in five, but I got Lakers in six.
I'll be happy with a sweep, honestly,
Yeah.
but whatever. I'll take
Yeah.
Lakers in six.
I'm with
But
it.
hey, while we on this topic, really quick before we move on, can we give JJ Redick his flowers this year and what he's done as a coach with no experience came in and you get the number 3 seed and you get 50 wins on the season, like in the middle of your team being traded, some of your most important parts, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Davis, right? You can say those are two of our top 4 guys on our team got traded, and so it's like, and
Yeah.
you put that out there, and really the West is wide open right now. So I just want to give the flowers to JJ Redick and the job he's done
Yeah.
and the things he's saying. He's coming out and he said, I hope to be the Lakers head coach for the next 10, 12 years. What coach says that now? I mean, coaches are getting fired left and right, but hats off to JJ Redick, man.
Yeah, like you said, man, it was a lot of scrutiny of him coming into the head coaching position. Everything was talked about that he just got it because he was on the podcast with LeBron, and
Right, right.
that he was just kind of handed the job. And you look at a guy that you alluded to, really has coached almost like 3 different teams in this season. Like
Yeah,
you look at the pre-DFS trade with D'Angelo
yeah,
Russell and those guys. Then you look at the group that he had once we made that trade with the Nets. That was
yeah.
a different type group group, and then you look at the post Luca trade. Like he's
Yeah.
been able to adjust each time and have the Lakers relevant, and he adjusted so much that they stopped posting those tweets that you mentioned some podcasts ago,
Right.
where they were comparing through the first 10 games, 15 games, 20 games
The
his record
Darvin
to
Ham.
Darvin
Yeah.
Ham, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that just disappeared over time.
Right.
So hats
They
off to
stopped keeping
JJ,
track.
man.
Yeah. Hey, JJ deserves all the credit, but you got to give credit to the coaching staff as well with Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks and those fellas because
For
you can really
sure.
kind of see their hand on the game too as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't care who get it. JJ is the man. I think he's the guy for the job, and I'm loving where we're at right now, and I'm excited about these playoffs. We gonna get on these folks' nerves. If you listen to us, you know we've been Lakers fans forever, so get prepared. It's going to be heavy Laker talk going forward for the next couple months, and I'm not going to be shame about it. But we'll go to the Eastern Conference. I mean, we'll probably breeze through that. Obviously, the Eastern Conference is a little weaker, obviously, than the Western Conference. But you got the Bucks and the Pacers on Saturday. What do you guys see this series going? Obviously, Dame with the blood clot, he will be back at some point. They're optimistic that he will during the playoffs. But now we got the Pacers and the Bucks on Saturday afternoon, which I got there.
I think what you just said, the big Dame piece kind of made this series interesting, right? Otherwise, I think it would have been an easy pick for me to choose the Bucks because of their experience, because they have a good coach, well, an average coach over there. Let me say that, but
Yeah.
he's done well. Let me say that he's done well with them,
You
even
almost
amongst
gave
the
Doc his
injuries.
flowers.
Yeah,
Almost,
right. Had to
almost
pull him
would
back
have
real
gotten into
quick.
me. um, so I mean, I'll keep it short on this one. I would say I still would pick the Bucks to find a way to win this series. I would say Bucks in seven.
Yeah, that's kind of my same sentiment, and more of my, belief really comes from Giannis. I believe that ultimately we know that Giannis is the best player in this series and really the best player by far in this series, and so that's really where it rests for me. It is tough and troubling with the Dame situation, and hopefully they can get Dame back, but I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. It's on Giannis for me, and I'll take them. Likely for me. I'm gonna still say six. Ultimately, I think that they'll get it done on their home floor in Game 6.
I'll keep it quick. I'll take the Bucks in six, and it's for a lot of reasons that Ramon said and Lo said. Giannis is the best player in the league by far, and I think that that's ultimately the differentiator. Also, with the Pacers, you have to think about where their offense is going to ultimately come from. Siakam, it can be very, very wishy-washy. He's capable and he's talented, but he's very wishy-washy. And Halliburton is the same. He doesn't really know how to balance being a playmaker and scoring. So ultimately, that makes me a little nervous there. So I'll take the Bucks. So the next matchup we have is the Detroit Pistons, who have re-emerged out of nowhere, and the I'm sorry, the New York Knicks. So this will be very, very interesting. Is Jalen Brunson healthy or not? Because I need to know that before I can really feel comfortable making a pick here, even though we'll make a pick anyway.
I mean, just looking at it, starting, he had a couple games to kind of warm up and get going before the playoffs going. And yeah, I don't know if he's fully there yet, but at least having him on the floor, he's had this week-long break as well. So, I mean, I'm going Knicks. I'm going Knicks. Knicks in six.
Yeah, you rhyming there, huh? I'm kind of
Yeah, spitting a little
right. I
bars
know.
there.
Yeah, Lee. But no, I'm kind of thinking the same thing, honestly. Season series wise, I know that Detroit, I think, got them this year 3-1 in that season series, and they play great basketball. Cade Cunningham is probably going to win Most Improved Player, even though I'm biased and think he should go to Austin Reeves, but that's a whole nother thing. But in this series, I'm gonna take Knicks in six. I think ultimately. Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, they're the best duo in this series, and I'm gonna just let it rest on that.
Yeah, I like the Knicks in six as well. I think regardless if Jalen Brunson's not healthy or not, this is a really good tune-up series for him to get right. And I think Cat is enough to get over the Pistons. But the Pistons are very, very interesting, and they will be a force going forward. They will coach. I think that their head coach was done wrong with in Cleveland. Ultimately, I do understand why because Cleveland is the number one seed. But anyway, besides that, I do think Detroit in the future, and I think that their youth will show. And Cade Cunningham, they will learn how to win. They will be a force to reckon. But I'm sorry. What am I doing? Yeah. Kate Cunningham. I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Getting two of my series is messed up. So then the next series you got, obviously. Oh, I didn't do my pick. I'll say Nixon. Nixon. I'm gonna go Nixon 5. I think they're gonna run through
Oh,
Wow.
he didn't want to make it the same with us. Okay, I got
Yeah.
you. All right. All right,
Yeah.
we get it.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
get it.
I'm pied, and we
Yeah, we
can't
get
all be
it.
the same on every
We get
series. But
it.
then that 2-7 matchup that'll take place on Sunday at 3:30 on ABC. We got the Celtics number 2 and the Magic number 7. I'm gonna make this quick. I think this will be a sweep. I do not think that Magic will get a game. I was watching the Magic in the playing game, and they didn't score a point in 5 minutes, gentlemen. In 5 minutes against the Atlanta Hawks. And I'm watching,
Yeah.
and I'm like, the Hawks literally came back down from 22 points. And it wasn't like Atlanta was scoring on every trip down the floor. They were scoring like every other trip. And Orlando can go through spurts during the game where they cannot find any offense. And that is not what you want to do against the Celtics because they can score in bunches.
Yeah, no, I mean the biggest key for this game and how the Celtics are going to beat Orlando is they're going to force them to shoot the three, right? Because they are a team that gets to the rim. You look at Paolo and what is it, Bankero, right?
Yeah.
You look at him, he's a guy that takes it, he gets to the free throw line. They're going to shut that off and they're going to force them to shoot the three. Now, if Orlando get hot one of these games, I got them going at the 5. They may get hot one game and hit some threes and really win one game to be respectable in this. So a gentleman's sweep is what I got for Celtics.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Celtics in 4. I think y'all talked about the series enough. I don't have anything to say.
Don't sound like you're gonna be watching this one, man. I don't
Nah,
think
not really.
you're not interested in watching this one. So that's a recap of the first round. We'll see how it goes. We did record our picks and whatnot, so that'll be fun to keep track
Just want to make sure
throughout.
right quick. I know you did give your Clippers Nuggets picks, but I don't know if we gave in fact our Clippers Nuggets pick. I know you did it, Rob, but I don't think the two of us
Oh,
did.
okay,
Mm.
yeah, have at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take
Uh,
Clips in 6. Clippers in 6.
oh man. Phew. I got phew, I got a coin toss, man.
He
Honestly, I
put you
got
up against put you on the spot
Right.
there.
yeah, I got the Nuggets, man. I hate to say it. I
Oh,
hate to say it because I know my argument was talking about how good the Clippers are and all that, but if they are truly healthy, Jamal Murray with closing games out just is annoying. And I just feel like he just has that closeout DNA. I think he's going to win it in 7. I hate to say that. I hate to say it. And I hope I'm wrong, but
I
I'm going
think
to just
it's
say
just too
7.
much discombobulation to overcome for the Nuggets with them having a new coach. And
Yeah.
and ultimately, I think what it'll really bank on is we all discussed it about James Harden, his theory of shrinking in these moments. If he shrinks, yes. If he doesn't, if he continues to play like he played the last couple nights, the last 5 games, the Nuggets don't have a shot.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Cool, man. So we got the NFL draft coming up, which I won't spend too much time on my Saints, but we do have to talk about the Derek Carr because that is a story.
Oh, huge
Uh
story. Yeah.
Derek Carr did show his true colors a week after restructuring his contract, which puts us in $50 million of debt the next season, New Orleans Saints. When I say we, um, he said that he has a shoulder injury and may need surgery a week before the draft, putting us in a position to have to either consider Aaron Rodgers or consider drafting Shedeur Sanders, which I'll be a huge fan of, or I'll be a huge fan of us just going with Rattler and tanking it out and getting Arch Manning when he come back and bring him back home where he grew up in New Orleans. But I'm interested to see, man. Derek Carr, I thought he was supposed to be a nice guy, man. Like, what kind of like you're not like he thinks so much more of himself than what he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the timing of it for me was interesting. Like, why did this all of a sudden come out now? And did this come from Derek Carr's camp? And the word around the street and what I've been reading, right, it has been that it was purposely done by Derek Carr. It was
Yeah,
done in the thought of he didn't want to get Kirk Cousins, right? In a
yeah. He
situation
don't want
where
to be
you're
a
a veteran.
bridge quarterback.
Right, where you're a veteran quarterback and they draft your replacement. You only in there for a little bit of time until they really decide to give the keys over to the veteran. So he leaked this, knowing that okay, the news of Shador may slide a little bit. He may slide. He leaked this information right in the middle of that. to let teams know, like, okay, if you want Shador, come on up because I want like I don't like how that done. That's bad business. If that was truly how it's done, allegedly, right? Let's say allegedly here. If that's truly how it was done, I don't like that. That's bad business. If your writing's on the wall, you haven't done a good job there. You've been hurt. You're just a guy.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, if that was done in that way, that is very underhanded to try to kind of undercut your franchise at this particular point. A franchise that really honestly has been pretty good to you because you've been mediocre,
Yeah, that's what I'm
to
saying.
say
We're
the
not even
least. Yeah,
a good ran organization to where we probably would have strategically pushed him out because we would have not have let him last it this long. We were the Los Angeles Rams. We wasn't gonna push him out. Like we
Shout
might have
out.
drafted a quarterback, but he was gonna start. But
Yeah.
anyway,
yeah.
go ahead, Ramon. My bad.
No, 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 you good. I mean, you said it. It's your Saints. So if you were in the position, you said ultimately, if you had to choose between Shador right now, hopefully, or if you tanked for a year, what you going with?
We're not gonna tank. We're not that type of organization. We're not a good organization. Our GM is terrible. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna draft Shadur. Hopefully we draft Shadur. But if not, I could see a world where we draft an offensive lineman.
Yeah. Do you think y'all
You
gonna
know,
put? Do y'all think y'all will potentially reach a quarterback now? Like, let's just say if teams do come up and try to make sure they get Shador now that they know that he might be on y'all's radar, do you think y'all would reach for another guy, a Jackson Dart or somebody like that?
yeah, I think so. I think that's not out of the realm of possibility. But I just don't think we're good. We're honestly, I don't know. We're such a poorly ran organization, and we don't do a lot of things that make sense. So it's hard to kind of speculate. What we need to do is we need to draft a superstar. I mean, I'm sorry, like a very, very talented skill player because we have so many holes on this team, which is a wide receiver, a running back, and we need to run Rattler out this season and tank. And then Arch is the guy. Arch is the generational talent. We need to get him. That's what I would love for us to do, but we're not gonna do that. So,
I respect it.
but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make this a Saints thing, man. Let's go. NFL draft prospects, man. Who are y'all looking at? What's your favorite storyline position? What are your thoughts on this NFL draft coming up?
I'll keep mine quick. My biggest one is probably Jalen Milroe. He's a guy that we probably didn't think was going in the first round, but he got invited to the NFL draft and he's showing up to the NFL draft. There's been rumors that a team may trade up and get him at the end of the first round. A lot of teams and a lot of players and a lot of scouts are saying he may need a couple of years to develop. He need a vet in front of him. So look for those teams in the back end that needs a quarterback that has an aging quarterback in the front, like the Rams. Who knows? We'll see. But I'm looking at that storyline.
Yeah, I'm not gonna really hold it too much, man. Honestly, kind of Los really maybe took what I was gonna say, so I'm gonna just let it ping back over to you. One name I am thinking about maybe is Luther Burden. I think that he's a
Yeah, I
talented
love.
prospect and
Yeah,
it's kind of falling under the radar just a little bit right now, but
yeah.
I'm not gonna hold it too much on it.
When I look at this draft class, I just salivate over this running back class. I mean, you got released about 8 to 10 guys in this draft running back class that can really change a franchise or develop into one outside of the top names. But my favorite prospect probably is Omarion Hampton. I think he's going to have a really, really good NFL career. I really like him. He's really, really talented. And then, Los always know I love Quinston Judkins as well out of Ohio State. I think he's going to make an impact somewhere. If my Saints are smart, they will get there. But what about RJ Harvey, too, flying under the radar out of Central Florida? So this, like I said, this running back class probably one of the deepest ones we've seen in years. I'm looking forward to seeing where some of these guys are going.
Yeah,
Well, I think we did it again, guys. I mean, we're gonna wrap up here, man. Next time we record, the draft will have taken place, and we can talk through it and think about what we thought and what teams are gonna do. The only way to get that type of content is make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube, search Opinionated Benchwarmers, and also subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform, Opinionated Benchwarmers. Until next time, we are out of here.
Later.